Welcome to the November 2020 Planetside 2 Community Smash, the largest battle in FPS gaming. 800 players on the world's premier and possibly only massively multiplayer online first-person shooter, Planetside 2. You might be like, I remember playing that game 5, 6, 7, now 8 years ago. Well, we're still going, and better than ever. But I'm gonna warn you right now, just 30 seconds in, the match doesn't actually start for about 25 minutes. I'm gonna spend 25 minutes, which is much less than I would need, but as much as we have, explaining what's going on, what the strategies are. But if you're watching this in the future, or in the past, that doesn't make any sense, then you can skip to that point and watch the big fights, the big brawls, and you might not have any idea what's going on, but it's gonna be impressive, I guarantee you that. But until then, if you're watching live, or you actually want a little bit of context, or maybe to understand what's going on here, what's happening, what is this game? I thought this was pay to win. Wait, people still play this? What's the name of this? And so on and so forth. I'll be answering some live questions and all of that. But first, what is Planetside 2? Planetside 2 is a massively multiplayer online first-person shooter. That simply means up to 1,000 players on a single continent. Yes, continent. Will battle over dozens of bases. Now, this is a special organized event, but generally at all times, over dozens of bases in order to take control. There are combined arms, vehicles of all different flavors and types. You got Space Whale Galaxy Transports. Space Whale is a colloquial term, but I think it's accepted. You've got ground vehicles for spawning in infantry, and of course tanks, and oh my god. Well, some whales get beached before their time. You have all flavors of transports and support in between, but the bread and butter are the boots on the ground, the infantry battles. And that is most of what we're going to be seeing here today. That's the most common and usually required way to claim territory. But before getting a little more specific, I do have a beginner's guide on Planetside. It doesn't cover everything, but it covers it in more depth. 5 different classes where, you know what, let's talk about the event. This is the Community Smash, 800 players, organized usually once a year, but this year has been so packed full of enthusiastic players, new content. Planetside 2 is now under the development of Rogue Planet Games, RPG for short, which does have a better ring to it than Daybreak Games. Still published by Daybreak, but under a bit more independent development. They've released the Escalation update, including Bastion fleet carriers, which you may have seen, Colossus tanks, and a whole slew of outfit upgrade. Well, outfits are now no longer a glorified friends list, but instead actually have meaning and purpose. Of course, I'm not in one right now on this custom server, but as well as Outfit Wars, which had a couple fun rounds and will be coming back next year as well. On top of that, the very first, after 8 years, Planetside 2 campaign, the Shattered Warp Gate. Nanite Systems tried to install Windows Update or whatever they have on the Warp Gate. Bad things happened, and we're trying to figure out why. Esamir is changed. Forever! Or maybe not. I don't know. We haven't finished the campaign yet, as it's a continued process. Much like a World of Warcraft open world campaign, I know some of you may like World of Warcraft. I had my years of it, but now I prefer to play games that make me feel like a human being. But the Shattered Warpgate campaign, it doesn't even really require you, if you're not a huge fan of it, to shoot too many planet mans, but instead farm carrots and mostly carrots, space carrots, which are very important. Don't miss out on your space carrots, etc., etc. A lot of new additions to Planetside 2. And the Community Smash, I was surprised we had one earlier in the year, but another one organized. Let's first introduce the commanders. I had this video. Jimmy, bring the video. We have a video. The Community Smash video thing. We do it live, just like these battles. All right. Actually, I'm not sure about the music on this one. We gotta be careful about it. But I will link the video description. Let me tell you right now. The commanders are... I didn't think about that. We're trying. We're trying. Team Chefeke. I believe Chefek. Cheffeke. Chefeke. I'm pretty sure. And Team Falchun. Now, in my defense, these are not the easiest names to, like, just... Like... Falcon? Is that like Falcon, but in Klingon or something? I don't... Anyways. So, Chefeke will be commanding the Vanu sovereignty. And, Falchion will be commanding the Terran Republic. Wow. I have gone all over the place. I'm sorry, like... I was really gonna try to explain Planetside to people. It's not the simplest game to get into. But, back to my original point, 800 players with combined arms will be competing in a continent control alert. There will be 90 minutes. In 90 minutes, the glorious Terran Republic in the red with strength and unity, tactical superiority, weapons that focus more on putting as many bullets towards the enemy than worrying too much about if all of them hit them. Or the xenofetishist Vanu cultists who prefer tight cones of fire and tight armor in order to maximize what they call efficiency and achieve what they call, allegedly, enlightenment. And in this unbiased cast, I will be in the Observer Cam, which was awesome of Community Smash at Planetside Battles and Rogue Planet Games to provide me, and be able to follow the action as they go into battle. And now, how do you claim a base in Planetside? It's taking me 10 minutes. We got there. Shifek. That's the one. I'm hoping. And Falcon. Alright. As in Falcon Punch. So, hopefully, I don't screw that up. Those are the names. Let's pretend we're on the ground right now. So, in order to claim a base in Planetside, this is the map. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. The base must be connected to a base you currently control. This means, for example here, the Vanu sovereignty controls the Augur, a hotly contested but smaller facility. The NC Arsenal for this event is in neutral territory. The new conglomerate has been wiped out. Physically, not just mentally like they already are. I mean, for this special event. Usually there are the 3 factions, but as competitive as possible, 1v1. So this base is neutral, which means either faction can claim it. But let's say the Vanu claim it first. That means the Terran Republic will have to attack and claim the NC Arsenal in order to attack the Augur. If the Vanu have any control over NC Arsenal, the Augur cannot be controlled by the Terrans. You can't go behind them until you have control of a base. But there are multiple bases, especially major facilities like AMP stations. Let me give you all a look at one. Well, I could just fly around. Why am I not doing that? We'll go over the map specifically. Here's NC Arsenal, one of the most... I don't know if controversial is the right word, but it is a tough base to attack. But major facilities like AMP stations, which can feature either one centralized point or 3 side points and are obviously pretty extensive. Smaller facilities include usually single point bases, which are easier to take. It's a King of the Hill style situation. You get in, you clear the enemies out, you take control of the point, and usually it takes 4 minutes for smaller facilities, and up to 7 minutes for larger ones, 6 or 7, depending on how many points you take and exactly which facility it is. So you got to factor in the sheer amount of time it takes to capture bases, even assuming your opponents do not contest it and you get boots on the ground for free. So that is going to be a hugely important factor. That is how Planetside at the strategic level, which we are here, is played. That's what Chifak and Falcon, that is what they are going to be focusing on, because they have 400 players under their command. They're going to be divided into platoons, which are usually of 48 people, and then those are divided into squads of 12 people, and then usually there will be multiple fire teams of 3 to 6 people that can be further split, and they're all in TeamSpeak right now and organizing that. It is customary for the Force Commander, Chivak and Falcon. They don't play. They're not going to be... They sit like a general. They're going to be on this screen and in TeamSpeak essentially the whole time. The whole 90 minutes. Because organizing and directing their platoons and their squads around the map is everything. And logistics, just like real warfare, is everything. The opening moves are going to be important. Who focuses most of their effort on which bases, and since we're in a 1v1 scenario, there is a kind of a zero-sum situation where if one side focuses 100 players, say, to the NC Arsenal, that's 100 players that they can't put to Raven Landing or the Ascent. Some of these other contested bases. So managing exactly how many people at certain bases and understanding which bases are easier to defend or attack is critical both for the Force Commanders and for platoon leaders and squad leaders. There's a variety of outfits, including mine, participating in the event. Dozens from across the servers on the TR and VS sides, as well as essentially mercenaries who are filling in and balancing out the teams. And we'll have to see what the openers are. We're starting in 10 minutes. It's called Falcon. It's called Falcon the whole time? I'm going to say it like it's in Klingon. Falcon. Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I should have just I should have committed. Either way. So, as you already saw, it looks like both sides are going to be opening up with heavy air transports. Also attacking into a base. Usually the defenders have a built-in spawn room, which is under the control of the faction who is defending the base, whereas the attackers either have to move in via air or ground, transports, and spawning vehicles. And that is kind of the defining characteristic of how to attack a base. Moving over the flat ground is unlikely to happen very often. On the live servers, it's a lot more common, as things are less organized. But when it comes to speed and precision, that's why aircraft exist. So, yeah, certain lattices are deactivated for overall balance. It's a good question. And the victory conditions are after an hour and 30 minutes, which I'm going to time out by when the galaxies lift off. The victory conditions are simply after 90 minutes, just like a standard live server alert. Who has more territory? That's it. Okay, so everybody's a Planetside expert now. We're on Amerish. I'm actually going to talk a little more about tactics and strategy, just kind of like StarCraft. This is... The Force Commanders are playing in RTS right now. They have 400 Marines, medics, medevacs, Valkyries, literally, Liberators. I don't think they can use Liberators in this. There are certain things that are banned. Anti-infantry maxes, air-to-ground options, which are widely considered uncompetitive. Bastion fleet carriers. We're mostly about getting boots on the ground and fighting it out for these bases. That's the focus here. And making sure those boots get there. That's most of the focus. What was I saying? We're talking about strategy. So, from a purely RTS perspective, we're not even factoring in, because of course you have the platoons and the squads, and I'm sure the force commanders understand this as well. Like, who are your best players? Who are your enthusiastic but maybe not so great players? Like, who can punch above their weight and who can't? That's also a big part, especially of the openers. But let's look at the lattices here on Amerish. Amerish, I would say, is a pretty balanced, and this looks pretty balanced to me on how things are set up. A big focus will be on the Ascent. The Ascent, it's one of those bases. There's the central mountain in the middle of the map, which is unique to Amerish. I mean, every map has a middle base, but the Ascent is literally hundreds of meters looking down on the other bases. It's very difficult to assault cost effectively once it's claimed by the enemy. But right here, I'm interested to see first which faction, which team decides to go and commit to the Ascent. Because while, like, you don't need it to win by any means, you can almost kind of circumvent it. If you get it early, it's going to make things a lot easier. Another big one is NC Arsenal, like I was mentioning earlier. NC Arsenal is a base where things, especially on the live server, can get bogged down for a lot. Like, this base can become an hour-long fight. I doubt it will, because you'll actually be ordering around the platoons in order to get out of fights like that. But NC Arsenal and the Econom Bio. So another lattice line. You'll hear me talking about that a lot. Another lattice that is heavily contested is Econom Bio and the general Econom Metro area, with single point bases that are all connected to the only underground biolab in the game, which is very unique in and of itself because one of the points can be claimed by vehicles. So that makes it an interesting base to defend and to take. Another important setup is going to be around Crux headquarters. Crux headquarters is kind of the backstop. It will be the backstop of the TR. If that falls to the VS, then that is a tough base to dislodge from a focus team. They can hold on to that. It takes a long time to take. So once it is actually taken, especially if it's taken easily, it's a constant thorn. And there's not that many connections on the southern lattice. Something to point out. Notice here, Araxis Firearms and technically Barrack Electrical Station, but Barrack Electrical Station is kind of... Wait, is the Rockslide Outlook is... I don't know if that's deactivated. Interesting. It appears that was an executive decision to... Well, partially, like, since the game is usually balanced around 3 factions, when you have 2 factions, you have to cut out a few territories because simply it's almost impossible to make it balanced otherwise. Like, usually the game is balanced around, to an extent, the game isn't super balanced around, like, which warp gate you spawn on is going to win the alerts. Apparently it was a coin flip which warp gate the team spawned on. The TR getting the east, and the Amerish to the west. The Amerish to the west. Yes, that one. That's the one. The Vanu Sovereignty to the west. So, we'll have to see. So, I'm going to speculate. I'm going to jump into the Force Commander's chair, like I pretend to a little bit every weekend. And I think the first play should be claiming these neutral territories for either faction. I think the territories furthest from the warp gate, those are the ones that are the hardest to organize for. Even though you can take vehicles, you can get vehicles easily from a tech plant, or even from Araxis Firearms or Tumas Tech. I think Lithcor, Ascent, Raven Landing, 2 miles cargo. I think these bases are kind of going to define the pace of the battle. Whichever faction gets the majority of these bases is going to have... Like, they're just going to have access to a lot more of the map that is harder to get to and harder to organize for. I imagine that NC Arsenal, these northern lattices, Araxicom Network, and Moss Ravine, these are on live and generally just very hotly contested. Like, this is where battles can just continue to be fought for a significant amount of time because the defenders can move in and hold, but also if they move away from the base and there's not much defense, then attackers can get a hold of it and force the defenders to come back, and it kind of goes back and forth. Like here you have a Raxicom Network hub where the attackers, for example, they can put a Sunder advanced mobile spawn system right around here, right around this area. They can run into this building covered from the defender's spawn room. But at the same time, the defenders can come in covered from most of the angles except the point. So this is one of those bases. Whoever gets there first gets the advantage. But the defenders also have an opportunity to take it back without getting farmed too easily, especially since there's not going to be air-to-ground options. There is no construction. There are no Bastion fleet carriers. There's not a lot of the stuff that are somewhere between annoyances and significant points of conflict in terms of game design in the main game. You can't make everybody happy, but you do your best. So, with all this said, the battle will be... I think we might just have a timer on the screen for this. I'm not sure. Here, I think... Like, I don't know who's going to win. We've seen Chifek before. I think this is the first time Falcon will be force commanding. And as a little bit of a biased player, I'm going to follow the Terran Republic to start. And I'm going to make my face less of the screen. I apologize for you guys who had to look at it. And thank you, by the way, those of you who took the timestamp to this point, you Planetside experts. We're about to begin the Planetside 2 November 2020. I got to say November, the second one this year. May it be the best. Community Smash. About to start. It might be... We'll see if it's a few minutes delay. Usually there's a couple minutes to make sure we're ready to go. But 90 minutes on the clock, and we're set nearly to begin. I don't know how many players we have out here right now. It should be around 400 aside, probably a little under, unless literally everyone showed up, but this is the internet, so that would be a miracle. Each of those galaxies waiting, poised. I'm just waiting for the announce. Territories to watch once again. In our Amerish control coverage, the Ascent, Raven Landing, 2 miles cargo, this southern lattice to watch on the map. Those are Winter's bases to watch. Wait up. Let me... We got some Valkyries now. I'm just very excited. And I'm also kind of checking to make sure there's no significant delay. It looks like we're ready to go. Let's rock, says Falcon. Are we ready? Is it beginning? Oh, and here we go! The Planetside Smash will begin It looks like at least one galaxy smashed into friendlies outside of the warp gate, but the fleet is on the move, heading north. The Vanu, I can only assume, are on the opposite side, doing something very similar, but the vast majority of Terran forces heading out of the warp gate over Sungray Amp Station. 400 Terran soldiers up against 400 Vanu. 90 minutes. Let's go. The Valkyrie's heading lower to start. We got Jimmy, turn it up! This is professional gaming! NC Arsenal being contested. Vanu Gals in hot pursuit. The battle is joined. The galaxies on both sides. NC Arsenal, of course, is... so many galaxies! We'll just have to see when the smoke clears. That might take a bit. A few MOG logos. The galaxies, once they've dropped out their payloads, probably won't be sticking around for long. A whole lot of air-to-air fire here. A lot of boots on the ground. Jimmy, I want to feel like I'm there. Wait, I am there. Okay. What is control? 2 points heading towards. This is a 15-minute base unless you have all 3 points, but you can't just let it go. The Vanu maintaining air control afterwards. I see next to no Terran galaxies. But what are the boots on the ground looking like? The Maxes! They're allowed to have Maxes, they're just not allowed to have anti-infantry weapons. They are allowed to have the Nanite Systems Gorgons, though, which every Max has access to. And it looks like the Vanu Lobster Maxes are, like, that just looks ridiculous. I gotta, like, the Gorgons on the Vanu, everything looks ridiculous on the Vanu. But, so far, the TR getting kind of wiped on this base. I'm not sure. What are the percentages? 79% Vanu. The Terrans have moved. They're moving to the south. This battle is being won and won dominantly by the Vanu. But as we head towards the south, what will we see? Other bases contested along the front. The Augur. Captured so far by the Vanu. In their control. A couple Terran galaxies at Araxicom Network Hub. Another one of those middle bases. This one, 96% tactical Terran superiority. Heading up the Great Mountain of Amarish. The Ascent. Not really Wait, does anyone have a connection? There is no connection until Raven Landing is taken. It's right now being ghost-capped by the Terran Republic, going for the south. The strategy that I recommended, which these players have had strategies worked out for days now, by the way, just to be clear. But let's see if it plays out for them. Raven Landing being freely captured for the Terran Republic. Araxis firearms already in their control. What do we have down here? It looks like a relatively uncontested start. Well, Tumas Cargo Facility, a base rarely seen on the live server with a real contest, but both factions, neither seems... Wait, does either have a lattice connection? They do. Neither side has been able to get control of the point, it seems, unless there's potentially... No, there's no back cap here. I'm not sure. Neither faction has gotten any control of the point itself, which... I'm not actually sure what's happening here. I'm surprised the Vanu have taken control of the facility itself. They haven't even tapped the point yet. Also, there's Barrack Electrical Station falling. So the TR will take Moss Ravine, Raven Landing, and Barrack Electrical Station to start. But the valuable, the jewel, NC Arsenal, with all its guns and territory, we'll go to the VS early. Finally, someone gets to the high ground. I'm not sure if this was intentional, the delayed cap here on Tumas Cargo. That is an interesting strategy, if it was intentional. It seemed like they could have taken this at least 20, 30 seconds earlier. The Ascent now opened potentially for capture by the Republic. NC Arsenal's going to open up the Sungrey West Lattice. We'll see if the TR mount a defense at Sungrey Amp. But so far, both factions, this is the only real contested fight at the moment, as they both work on their openers. The Terrans have 51%, but the Vanu, well, nobody's quite able to get the point. The Vanu still struggle. The point is contested. It's been neutral. Somebody's tapped it. They're still not actually taking it. No, they definitely could. This has to be intentional. The Vanu have now captured this base. The TR are pouring in more numbers. They're up to 53%. They can send reinforcements from the adjacent bases, as now Barrack Electrical Station is in Terran control. And, so before we get too far into it, wait, can I see territory control without... How do I see territory control? I may have to relog. We'll see if somebody tells me. It's potential. I may have to actually relog into the server. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. The Ascent is being ghost capped by the TR. NC Arsenal about to be finished off. Falcon sending more forces there. Valkyries contesting 2 miles cargo. This base. The VS are holding with 13% less. But here comes some maxes from the TR. I'm really interested to see what happens more to the north. I'm surprised that the big... Oh, here come reinforcements. Valkyries dropping in. Yeah, before this gets too far further in, I'm going to relog. So that way I can see territory control. The balance is exactly 50% Terran and exactly 50% VS. Top right of the map screen. Don't tell me how to... if I messed it up. Sometimes when you relog. If I'm just a noob, that's my fault. Oh my god, you can just filter for it. I'm so used to it being on the screen during the alert. This is my bad. This is why Winter does not fight, but instead he watches and talks. And hopefully you enjoy my words here during this community smash. There we go. Oh, get the logo out of there. You see, this is why we can't have nice things. Right now, the Terrans are at 46%. But there's a lot of time on the clock. And what happened? I left and then, like, the sun just went out. Well, okay. Because, well, nighttime battles, as everyone knows, look way cooler. But I can't... Oh my god. Alright, look for the tracers here. Okay, 2 miles cargo facility. Contested by both sides. Is it 96 plus? Yeah. Well, 96 plus probably for both sides at this stage. The Vanu still holding. 30 seconds on the clock. The Terrans put a strong effort in. But they're not going to get it. At least not at this rate. Another drop coming in from the TR. Last chance. 25 seconds on the clock. More coming through the door. But the Vanu, a firing squad on the high ground. This ain't gonna happen. The hard light barriers helping out as well. Revive grenades doing their best. But the Vanu are well entrenched. And good luck. It's literally up a ramp into a firing squad. You're gonna need a lot more than 50%. Let's move on to something that's less of a war crime.
We've lost the facility.
Okay, so. Oh, but wait. Nice logos there. Reinforcements, have arrived! It might be a little late to capture originally, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll say 10 Terran galaxies. The TR have claimed, they're about to claim the ascent. They're getting back-kept. Oh no! Oh no! What a play by the VS! All these galaxies hitting 2 Mars cargo. Even if they do take the point, it doesn't matter. The Vanu are already on top of Arax's firearms. You do not get time. This isn't the live server. This isn't a bunch of headless goats. These are well-directed and perfectly competent goats. Okay? They will go where told, when told to. And with any amount of people on Arax's firearms, that negates the opportunity, if I'm correct. Yes, this is the only connection to 2 Miles cargo. So despite the fact that the Terrans have 67%, my face is in front of it. 67% on 2 Miles cargo. It doesn't matter. Because they have to fight for Arax's firearms. They may clear it out, but any amount of time on the clock matters right now. The point, hotly contested. Only 28% VS. A point hold. Just trying to put time on the clock. They know they're not going to take the base, but they can prevent others. The Terrans will take it back now, both points. But the amount of time is bought, several minutes. And when it comes down to it, there's not that much time. Sungray West is holding. Let's head north. Going past Makala Tech Plant. There's Sungray Amp Station. And to the west, Sungray West Gate. The Vanu contesting it. The point is flipping. 63% Vanu right now. More reinforcements coming in. Drop! I think something hit me. I think a drop pod. Either I bugged out the obs cam, because technically I'm an observer, but because of the spaghetti of Planetside, I technically exist in the world. I just can't capture anything, or obviously, but it's a little awkward when that happens. So we gotta be a little careful. I'm just here to report on the war, all right? The Vanu will be taking this with 3.5 minutes, and then will they actually go for a Sungray amp cap? Lithcore Central held. Barrack Electrical Station. More reinforcements coming in for the Vanu, but let's head back south. Barrack Electrical Station, notorious as one of the hardest bases to actually take if the defenders are entrenched. But here it looks like the Vanu. Well, let's go on a journey, shall we? The Vanu got here first, and they were able to get themselves onto the point. And you might be like, wait, oh, the point? No, we're not there yet. Take a journey with me. In order to get to the point, you must go underground into the tunnel of death, into the entrenched firing squad of the Vanu. Those hard light barriers set up, providing some mobile cover, as well as plenty of cover around these corners. The TR closing in from one side, both sides, trying to push in towards the southern entrance. The Vanu have a disgusting crossfire, but eventually at some point, they're going to be reliant. There are no rounders. The only way that they can survive this attack is through medics and their revived. More Maxes coming in. That Max almost went to the moon. More Terrans coming around the sides. Terrans at 56%. And remember, whenever there's a battle with one side having significantly more percent, that means those forces are not allocated somewhere else. The Terrans overrunning the point. The Max is the backstop. The Vanu without enough to hold. And the Terrans will recapture with 1 minute left. But a strong, oh my god. Do you have a permit? My permit is this under. What do we have? Oh, Sungray West. 1 minute on the clock, heading north. If the Terrans are able to reclaim this, this was the main thrust of the VS push. NC Arsenal towards Sungray. If the Terrans can hold, and they have the numbers right now, they're closing in on the point. This buys a lot of time and negates. Oh, the Vanu are bringing in reinforcements. Revive grenades all over the place. It's a bit of a mess inside. Vanu still going to work. Still plenty of revives. Grenade bandoliers for revives and grenades alike. It's unclear exactly who's going to come out on top. Let the bodies hit the floor and then get picked back up again and then hit the floor again, depending on how much splash damage. But the Terrans are overrunning the point. 40 seconds on the clock. The Vax is gunned down. The revives are enough. More zombies. It's almost impossible to tell who's who. But at some point, somebody will stop getting back up. And whichever color they are will determine who is the victor. The Terrans have reclaimed. The revive grenades are petering out for the Vanu. They're still contesting it. They still are at 50-50. But what all save? The Terran Republic will hold on to an incredibly key build. I'm actually surprised they got a hold of it. I really thought the Vanu would be able to just push through into Sungray Amp Station. But instead, the Terrans were able to break the defenses both to the north and to the south. And now, via, what is that, a Rexcom Network Hub? The cap on a Rexcom Network Hub has given the Terrans an opportunity for a back cap at NC Arsenal, which drew the Vanu forces away from Sungray West so they couldn't focus as much and opened up the opportunity to hold the line. And right now, that puts the Terrans at 50% territory control. You might be like, Winter, this doesn't add up to 100%. It's whoever has more at the end. I believe there's about 92% accessible. We just got to look at the numbers. That was for balance reasons at the start as we went over. So NC Arsenal contested again, but the other direction. The Terrans are closing in. Our reinforcements on the way. Meanwhile, Tumas cargo facility is going the way of the TR as well. Lithcore Fortress, another one that the VS need to hold on to. They decided to push all of their forces into, well, most of their forces at least, the vast majority, towards the northern lattices, towards NC Arsenal, towards Lithcore. And now, I'm feeling a little more validated, as I suggested. The attack on the southern lattices, the ones further away from the warp gate, the ones harder to get to, but with a lot more options and a lot easier to actually claim, that is paying off for the TR. It looks like the VS adding reinforcements in will be able to hold on to NC Arsenal, but the time is bleeding off the clock right now. Tumas cargo facility. We saw the... I'm still confused about what happened early. Like, why did the Vanu hold off intentionally? I have to assume capturing it for at least a minute or two. Where are we? I got lost. Where am I? It's dark out. I can't see very good. I don't have my infravision implant. Valkyries are actually killing spawn logistics that are coming out of... Wait, are the Terrans gonna attack Tumas Tech? They're gonna try to claim a tech plant from the VS? Any major facility, like NC Arsenal, the Ascent was given up for free. And NC Arsenal was the main strategy for the VS, for Chifek here. If Tumas Tech falls, that's a lot of ground to make up. Tumas Cargo is 2/3 control. Terran domination. The battle for NC Arsenal. The VS. Okay, there's a lot happening. The northern lattices right now. The southern lattices are mostly being ignored by the majority of the forces. And by majority, I mean 3/4 of the 400. But the real battle, Araxicom Network, NC Arsenal. I'm just going to flip around between these battles. Lithcor Fortress is going for the TR, but Araxicom Network is under attack. Meanwhile, Lithcor Central will be held onto by the TR. Tumas Cargo, 69% pop for the TR, should secure it. Nice. Sungray West, though. The back cap via... Wait. How did they get a back cap? Oh, they turned it back! They turned it back before the time ran out on the clock. A lot of technical navigation of the base timers here. But this... The TR have to respond to this. This undercuts their entire attack. I'm just gonna stay here. Because even though it's 88% VS, this is super important. Like, if they lose Sungray West, even if... Like, 96 plus is at NC Arsenal. The back cap isn't gonna matter.
You can still cut this out.
2 minutes on the clock. The Terrans are responding. A couple Valkyries heading in. Max is on the ceiling. Here come Valkyries. The Terrans dropping out. Another round. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hit me. My bad. 4 Valkyries dropping in. Pop is evening up. On the point, the Terrans running in. There are half a dozen or so maxes for the VS. This 2-squad holdout. Is it enough? The hard-light barriers formerly for the TR. The Vanu, though, not able to hold. The back cap cleared up. The Terrans paying attention. And will not let that go for free. So now this begs the question, what's happening at NC Arsenal? NC Arsenal is going with 3 points towards the Terrans, despite being even on population. This is, that would be a devastating blow. Like, we're not quite at the point, there's still over an hour left, where anything is particularly game-ending. But it's infinitely harder to be playing defense. Aggressive defense is the best way to win this sort of battle in Planetside. Getting out ahead of your enemy and negating whenever they come to hit you with their main force, already be out of the way somewhere else. The Vanu responding strongly here. Lithcor Fortress was claimed by the TR. It's 52% to 39% right now. Araxicom Network overwhelmingly saved by the TR. Tumas Tech 96 plus. Well, that also includes the VS via this, but it looks like well, if the Terrans actually get NC Arsenal, that is, oh my god, they're really committing to it. Both sides dropping in more. A battle since the start. More galaxies for the VS. Constant reinforcements. It's almost impossible to maintain ground-based spawn logistics, as these players are far too organized to allow them. Oh my god, that was a lot of Terrans. We're going in. Through the smoke, through the fire, and through the flames, and through the tracers. The battle for C point. The last point held on to by the TR, now under 40% at this base. Mostly through the lashers, really. Oh my god, I did not. A couple dozen Terrans taking what high ground they can. Vanu moving in, trying to dislodge them. Meanwhile, the battle for Tumas Tech does not exist. Sungray West was recapped again. Or, it's been going back and forth, but the Terrans have still held on to it. Through the smoke, there's of course like an infiltrator on the point. Oh, apparently, Winter Gaming TR has claimed Lithcor Central. Cool to hear. Hopefully they can hold it. Completely unbiased caster. Let's see where this galaxy's heading. Araxcom network hit again. Lithcor Fortress holds. This is breaking a terrible direction for the VS right now. Lithcor Fortress holding. Lithcor Central holding. This map is a mess of Lithcors. Tumas Tech Plant falling. Araxicom network is the only thing going towards the Vanu. Flipping right now. Where's my Araxicom net? Where am I? Yeah, I'm going the right way. Will the Terrans respond? The answer, yes. Here they go. Galaxies coming in. Another drop. More drops. Valkyrie, direct hit. Ramming speed. The Terrans coming from all over the place. The Vanu entrenched on the point. More drops coming in. Anti-air's not enough to stop this flock of whales. The Terrans moving in towards the point. The Vanu trying to hold. The door. The Terrans filing in the door. Just the amount of names. The point is flipping. Revive grenades. It's a good thing we have nameplates. Oh no. They're trying to hold. The point is flashing red for the Republic. There's a lot of knives. Knives going out. I'm sorry, I'm NC technically right now. I never learned to read good. The battle will continue, but once a point is retaken like that, it's gonna be almost impossible to hold on. Pretty much a lost cause at this point. The VS should reallocate their forces, and they have to Sungray West. It looks like they will finally take it. With a huge amount of galaxies in the sky, continually dropping reinforcements, providing that spawn platform. Spawn beacons light up the sky, and it looks like the Terrans will not be able to respond to this. Tumas Tech is a overwhelming display of tactical superiority, 48 to 96. Barrack Electrical's flipping. Tumas Tech is going to be a big problem for the Vanu. We're down to 1 hour on the clock. More beacons. Yeah, the Terrans, I'm surprised there are any drops at all. I guess you got to make it look good. Somehow there's a Terran squad beacon. One of these is not like the others. Oh. 52% TR. Barrack Electrical is a bit of a mess, but Tumas Tech is a big deal. I think we're gonna see. Is there going to be an assault on Sungray Amp Station? Because that is a big ask. It appears the Vanu are gonna go for one of the most difficult to take bases on the entire map. This is usually the backstop on the live servers for any sort of alert. There are 3 points you have to hold on to, otherwise it takes an inordinate amount of time. It's like NC Arsenal, but even tougher. The Vanu organizing for the attack. Dropping in some gate shield diffuser sunderers going right through those vehicle shields. So the way amp stations work, this amp station is one of the 3 pointers. the Terrans can spawn in either towards the very center, or they have a spawn room in a relatively centralized location. But they can easily focus on either side. But once the Vanu capture 1 point, they also get a spawn room on the base. It makes it kind of unique. So if they have at least 1 point, they can bring in reinforcements without having to commit more aircraft or more buses on the way here. So since they have all 3 points, oh my god, 90 seconds. Are they just gonna swipe this? The NC Arsenal's flipping for the TR. Whoa, whoa, whoa! If the NC Arsenal flips for the TR, this doesn't matter. This will be cut off. So the NC Arsenal, it's 30 seconds extra on the clock. This is, you see Galaxy scrambling back for NC Arsenal. That is a huge deal. How did they even get here? Here come the Vanu on the way back. They need to hold on to this, otherwise that entire Sungray play will be negated. More Galaxies heading back. They were able to keep most of them in the sky because there isn't too much enemy fire. It looks like an overwhelming amount of Vanu will be dropping in to save the day. But at the same time, you know what happened then? Besides the Econom, we're just gonna quickly glance at the Econom garrison fight. Oh my god. Which is a bit of a wild card here. I'm kind of surprised that the TR made it this far. They're holding on to the point. The VS trickling in from the spawn room, not really the place you want to be here. The TR will defend Sungray, and the VS will hold on to NC Arsenal, leaving Econom Garrison the very precarious cutoff potential. It doesn't cut off NC Arsenal, but it threatens it, with only the Augur standing in between. A Rexcom network hub is heading towards the VS, but just now got turned. 45 seconds on the clock. If the Vanu are going to make a move, it would have to be now. A forward hold from the TR. I see no Galaxies. Oh.
Eyes on an enemy air transport.
The Vanu Valkyries will split off. Retasked. Tumas Skylance is falling. Barrack Electrical Station holds. The Terrans are still working the southern front, and that's where most of their lead comes from right now. The contest to the north between Sungray and Econom is epic, but that's not where these biscuits are buttered. Econom Garrison will be captured, and that puts the TR at 53%. So now at this point, oh, the TR already dropping on the Augur. Responses, well, continually dropping. Retest from our XCOM network. But it comes down to Sungray Amp now. This is the wild card. So many Vanu Gals still in the air, able to move quickly. 3 points taken, 50 seconds on the clock, 65 to 35%. If they can hold on to all 3 points, take this quickly, and then move to defend the other bases. The Augur's going to be critical, because otherwise this is fully cut off. The shields are down on the spawn room. The Terran forces trying to make some headway, but right now getting farmed in their spawn location. And it does look in an interesting turn of events. The Vanu will take Sungray Amp. But at what cost? Econom Bio. The Augur's gonna hold. Tumas Skylance is a dicey base. The Terrans come in with a few seconds on the clock, but Sungray Amp is captured by the Vanu Sovereignty. The Terrans are here just a couple seconds late. And this is a oh my god, I didn't even notice! This cuts off 5 bases of territory. The Terrans tried to walk a thin line. And while I don't think they're going to hold on to Sungrey Amp, I don't think the VS are going to hold on to Sungrey Amp. I didn't even realize, I didn't think it would actually happen. That makes these bases so much easier for the Vanu to retake, because while the Terrans are so focused on taking back Sungrey Amp, Econom Garrison, Lithcorp Fortress, North Grove, I don't think they'll get all of them. But that is a lot of time on the clock if they're able to maintain even 1 point here. That's a big deal. I honestly, I don't know. Maybe the Terrans didn't notice either, but this base is kind of the gateway to the northern section of the map. It is a huge cutoff there. Tumas Skylands, though. Even despite the shenanigans happening up here, if we go past the mountain to the south, hotly contested. The TR are taking it, but they're out-popped right now. It looks like the point was just retaken by the VS. A bit of a mess out here. This base has an open... It doesn't really have a roof, which means drops can go directly onto the point. So a little unique in that. And then, of course, you are also vulnerable to the high ground. The Vanu hold on to Tumas Skylands for now. It looks like the Terrans don't have the reinforcements they need. Look into the sky for galaxies. What's happening up here? Sungrey Amp is going back towards the TR, but Econom Garrison gonna flip. The Augur, 96 plus. 96 plus, of course, includes both. I keep forgetting about that. But now here's the important point. Araxicom network is backcapped. The Augur, every bit of those 69% Terran players. Not nice, by the way, because they can't do anything at this base. There's nothing to be done. Where am I? I got lost. Oh my god. This map is pretty big. Yeah, every Terran you see here has nothing to accomplish. They need to move to other bases. Sungrey Amp is flipping, but it's adding a lot of time. Econom Garrison. Araxicom network is continually this point of contention. Terrans at 60%. 2 minutes on the clock. Can the Vanu hold? There haven't been any huge, like, 60 to 40 holds yet. Or 40 to 60, more accurately. There's been, like, 53, 54, but it's just simply so difficult when you don't have the numbers. The Terrans are getting in towards the point. Swarming over the Vanu. We'll reclaim Araxicom network, but still, a lot more time on the clock. So the Vanu aren't out of this yet, despite they're down 7%, but things are about to change a bit. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Araxicom, the southernmost base on the map. We're fighting all throughout the front. What is it? Araxicom Chemical? I don't even know the name. All the bases near the warp gates are rarely fought at, because things are either going very wrong or very right, usually, when that scenario is happening. Oh my god, this is probably the largest battle that's been held at this base in a long time. Aramax Chemical Company. Right now being held by the TR. That will solidify their foothold on the southern half of the map.
Cut this out.
2 minutes on the clock. Not a strong response from the VS yet. They've got probably a few squads here, but are there reinforcements coming? A few more Valkyries. 1, 2, 3, 4 more Valkyries. Valkyries a little faster than Galaxies. Cost a few less nanites, so you can get more of them. But it's not enough. Like, that, a few Valkyries isn't going to turn them. I'm looking to the sky more than I'm looking at the ground, because that's where the saviors will come from. Sungrey Amp is still hotly contested. The Bastion seeing some action, though unlikely to be taken as well. If this base, like, the Vanu have been focusing on the big plays, whereas the Terrans are grinding it out. They're taking the small bases, the bases that are rarely fought. Oh, more Valkyries coming in. I'm still looking to this guy. Whose gal is that? I can't tell, it's too dark. More squad beacons. Still 63% TR. Still 1 minute on the clock, but a stronger push from the spawn room. The point is in the middle of this little courtyard. Where are reinforcements? Sungray Amp is still holding, and that's a huge deal. We might actually see like a half map sort of split. The Terrans, 30 seconds on the clock. If you're gonna make a play. They're still committing, like you would think that the VS would just pull out of this base now, but they still have a few squads committed here. The warp gate in the distance. And the TR are going to claim this. That puts the TR at 46%, but two Moss Tech! Point hold. We're gonna watch this all the way through. This is probably the most, I guess the most set piece battle in Planetside. A tech plant assault / defense. Everything but the Isa tech plant on Esamir. So here's how it works. You take the point in the center. It's on the tech plant is a multi-level platform. But the defenders have to come in from the ground floor or from the upper floors. There's also a balcony where you can drop in from the upper floors as well with a little bit of parkour action. I mean, it's not too difficult. It's a very common tactic. So, it'll come down to whether the Terrans decide to go for a frontal break. And now remember, routers are not accessible. The VS don't know this. They're taking what's called a rabbit hole. And we're going to watch why momentarily. So, there are lifts that run underneath the base. Now, both sides, of course, know this. But I think there are still some more Terrans down there. The Terrans at 58%. Galaxy drops coming in. They're coming in from underground and above. They're on the lift pads right now, trying to fight for the balcony. Terrans making their way down, trying to break through. The Vanu are going to try to hold with less than 40%. If there was a base to do it, it'd be a tech plant. Still holding on the inside. The balcony not breaking yet. That Terran flag hanging ominously, but they got through the lifts! Oh, and suddenly, the flank from the back, the pincer attack, the balcony, cutting down at the front, and the back line rolling up. And that will claim the high ground on this middle level. And the Vanu left on the other side will be easily dispatched. The Terrans will defend their tech plant. Sungray Amp is still a point. It's still held by the Vanu. They're still committing enough forces there. I'm debating whether we go to Araxicom Network or Sungray Amp. Sungray Amp is back and forth. The actual brawl is at Sungray Amp. I think we're going to go there for a few minutes. They're holding on to it. They're now, is it too much of a commitment from the Vanu is the question. Like, they're not able to make any progress on any other bases, partially because they have, oh my god, oh, how did I not see this? The Augur. Now this is important. Remember how the Vanu cut off the TR so dramatically at Sungray Amp? Well, the Augur cuts off all of this territory in turn. So if the Vanu do not defend this entire investment, these last 20 minutes have been undercut. And it doesn't, like, there's 25 seconds left, and the Terrans are looking pretty well entrenched right now. There's not nearly enough Vanu here. Some Galaxy smashing in a little bit low. Oh no. Wait for it. Disaster for the Vanu sovereignty.
Taken the facility.
Oh no. Every one of those forces more forward on the front is now fighting a essentially obsolete battle. The Augur cut off the right play, the strong play, and potentially a winning play. That's most of the particularly tight-fitting eggs were in the Sangre basket for the Vanu. We've reached the halfway mark, 45 minutes on the clock. The Terrans lead 47 to 33%. And that's not even including the territory that will probably be reclaimed now. That's a big mistake from the Vanu. Letting the Augur go is a lot to recover from, especially considering the southern bases are still contested. A Raxicom network is becoming an issue again. Hey, Begong. Can't jiggle peek your way out of this one. Our XCOM network is a stronghold by the VS. They're at 2/3. A minute 40 on the clock, though a lot can happen in a minute. Oh my god! The beacons are lit! The Vanu call for aid! Is aid coming? Not the color they'd like. Oh, one Terran! One brave Terran! On the high ground! Wait, are those drops? We're gonna take a few moments. Jimmy, turn my face off.
Start fighting for real at any time now. The Vanu sovereignty has taken the facility.
Oh my god. With a Raxicom network, the VS reconnected some of their bases. They salvaged it. Anyways, back to my face-off. Crux headquarters. This is another huge play. This has been a match of huge plays from the VS and just high percentage plays from the TR. Crux headquarters, another 3-point, tough to take base that they're going for. The TR did reclaim Sungray Amp Station. The Econom Lattice is still a bit of a mess. Toramar Storage Yard is heading towards the Terrans, as is Tumas Skylands Battery. I mean, look at the number.
The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you.
It's 55-37. Taking a few key bases is good, but it's not good enough. The Vanu, we're closing in. We're almost to 30 minutes left.
Don't give up. We're still in it.
It's unlikely. Like this, bases like this just take a lot of commitment, a lot of effort, and if your enemies respond strongly, it's unlikely to at least be a clean cap, if one at all. And here we see the Terrans taking full advantage of the fact that Crux headquarters is mostly an open field base as opposed to having any sort of cover. So moving in between the points here means you're exposing yourself to air-to-ground fire, even from these transport vehicles, which do have guns on them. A key point. A battle gal. Not gonna make it. The Terran's more than happy to hold on the Crux. Toramar Storage. Is that a base that it even gets fought at? Well, it is now. Let's head across. The Valkyries, like vultures, will circle around the battle, waiting to pick, to respawn dead soldiers, or maybe pick some enemies off. The VS can't afford to lose anything anymore. Any base lost is one step closer to the already precipice of disaster. Toramar will be defended. The TR with a few Valkyries around hanging out. But they will not be enough. As we're going in to the final stretch, honestly, the next 10 minutes are going to decide whether the VS have a shot. What plays can they make? Econom Garrison. Econom Garrison. There's 30 seconds left. Speeding north. Just look for the vultures. This one overpopped by the TR. They're closing in on the point. If the VS can hold, that's a huge, like, that's something. They need to hold. They must hold. 10 seconds on the clock. The Terrans closing in on the point. 5 seconds. 6 seconds. How did it go up? Because I can't count. 6 seconds, but the Terrans are all over it. It's contested, and it's turned by the Terran Republic. They are finally, they're able to seal what could have been a comeback. They're stuffing it at every turn. And no matter how many revives, the numbers aren't there. And right now, I gotta say, for the Vanu,
Well, you got 25% at best at beating me.
that was something, potentially. But again, the Terran Republic stops them. They took Skylance. They're taking Chimney Rock. Lithcor Central has been held, and it appears those southern bases, the bulwark from which the Terran Republic, like, all this doesn't really matter. They could have lost, the Terrans can lose Econom. They could lose Sungray again. They can't lose Crux. Can't be losing Crux. That would be bad. But it's the less attention paid to the southern base that is going to be, if it continues this direction, the key to victory for the Republic and Falcon. Crux headquarters. It was 30 seconds. If you're able to take all 3 points, the base caps quickly. 2 points takes quite a while. Either way. So essentially, you got to maintain total control. The built-in anti-air turrets zoning out the Vanu. And like, is anything even flipping for the Vanu now? Chimney Rock is flipping towards the Terrans. Wait. Really, I think the investment in these big flashy plays has been... I don't even think it's like the intent, but the plan to go for Sungray, open up with NC Arsenal, now going for Crux. Like, I think that's much better on live server. On live server, when a significant percentage of every faction, though I'm sure we'll eternally debate how much of every faction, but every faction has a bunch of randoms who are just gonna go to whatever dumb fight or do whatever, or run around in tanks or something. And if you can do a coordinated assault at on a key base like Crux headquarters, that's a good play during a standard counting lock alert. But during this, when you know the enemies are just as or similarly coordinated to you, going for these big bases, while you might get some, is a big risk for not that big of reward when you consider how many bases are on the map. Chimney Rock, the eternal battle for Chimney Rock. Legend has it that Chimney Rock has been fought over since Amerish was created. I don't know where I get my legends from, but look for the vultures. Where am I? Okay. Ah, here we go. Remember, the Vanu are on defense here. Even then, the Terrans contesting heavily. Looks like the Vanu just cleared them out of the point. Just as we got here. Good thing we didn't have to see that. Who's using a Rampart Prowler? Oh, whoa! I completely missed it. I can't believe this keeps happening. Like, I keep criticizing those big plays, but again, Sungray Amp Station reclaimed by the Vanu Sovereignty. And with it, cutting off about 10% of territory. But that still puts them down. They're going to need to recap. They need to hold on. Okay, so here's the scenario. Jimmy, get out my crayons. Get out the crayons. Yes, the good crayons. Come on. Good crayons. Okay, so. The Vanu need to hold this and then roll up all this territory. They need to hold this line, and they can't lose anything else. If that's the case, then, is that enough? What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, that's enough. That flips it. That's a lot. Like, not all of these bases. Like, you have to take them one at a time. Starting with Econom Garrison. You can take Augur. Like, there's 29 minutes on the clock. So we're against the clock right now. I'm sure the Terrans are going to contest Sungray Am. It's too big not to. They might go for the cutoff. Well, okay, so we're in a really awkward scenario where a cutoff at a Raxcom network hub could change a lot of this, but Crux headquarters is already back kept. Chimney Rock Depot contested, will be held. Tormar storage yard is going towards the Terrans, but it will hold for now. Sungray Overwatch is straight up under attack. Some back caps from the Terrans. Okay, so what the Vanu are doing right now, what I criticized just a few minutes ago, we'll see if it pays off. They're going for the single thrust. They're going for the big stab into TR territory. They're not going for all the little bases. They're going for the decisive vast majority of their 400 players along this line. We're talking 150 probably in or around this base right now. With the rest spread out around the northern lattices and just enough to hold on the rest. So this clash of styles, if they get Sungray Overwatch, we're in kind of a crazy... It's gonna come down to it. This is... You gotta be decisive now. And I appreciate that Chefek is so decisive with this decision. As decision should be. But... Oh my god, are those Terran gals? Those are Terran gals. Do they have a connection? They do. They do. Sungray Overwatch. The Terrans got behind the lines. Everything in Overwatch negated. 1 point, 2 points. And Night Now contested. It's gonna be 3 for 3 for the Terrans. They get behind Overwatch onto the amp station at the last-ish second. They really need... This was very important for the Terrans. Instead of playing defense, remember, it's all about that preemptive defense, getting behind enemy lines. And there's only 90 seconds until they're able to cap. Assuming the VS... Yeah, the VS will respond. Here we go. C point. Is that a Mag Rider? Of course it's a Mag Rider. Okay, so this shores things up a lot for the Terrans. I was imagining a world where they lost all that territory and Sungray Overwatch, but Sungray Overwatch is now off the table. Econom Garrison and the Augur somehow haven't flipped yet. Crux headquarters. Oh, everybody's all over the place now. It's impossible. I need like 5 cameras minimum to keep up. Right now, oh, whoa my god. Okay, this is cinematic as Nanai, as Higby right now. Oh my god! Oh! He doesn't care! Oh! Oh no, he's hitting the Vanu as well! So many Vanu... Demolition Derby! At all costs! The Terrans striking back at Sungray Amp! And Sungray Amp reconnects half a dozen bases. Everything. No. Send everyone. Where are the gals? Where are the galaxies? The Vanu need to send everyone here. It has to be this. This is it. Like, this is their play. Is holding on to Sungray Amp. If they don't do that, it's over. I'm confident in that. With 25 minutes left, everything rides on Sungray Amp. We're here. I'm surprised it came to this, but here we are. Yeah, calm down. More harassers. Where are the gals? Where are the gals? There's a few up above, dropping in squads. I'm surprised there aren't more, because the Terrans, it's 54-45, but you can't risk this. Some more Terran. Oh! Direct hit! The Galaxy's going for the Valks! Oh, double! Double! Oh, give me another one! Oh, what a play! Oh, that's a beautiful, some real finesse on that whale. Knocking out a couple Vanu Galaxies. The Valkyries, like dolphins compared to the whales. A body slam in the air. Prone to doing a lot of damage. Could you calm down? Oh, he's really... Oh, so close! You need to stop. It's Tony Hawk, the Sunderer driver. The Terrans have taken so much. At this point, oh, God. I stand by it. I feel validated. Going for the southern lattices has really paid off for the Terrans. There's nothing here that's easy to take. I don't know about Tormar storage. You rarely try to attack that base. I don't know what's happening that the Vanu are unable to take these cut-off bases. Actually, I do know what's happening. The Terrans are dropping behind what is loosely called enemy lines. They're desperately holding onto the amp, but it's costing them 10% more manpower. They're at 55-44, and it's still contested, which means the Terrans are able to allocate that elsewhere. We're at 23 minutes on the clock. The VS need to be able to retake these territories. Econom Garrison is 50-50, but it's flipping. And once it flips, it can't be recapped. Vanu sending in more. They need to hold on to Sungray Amp. The only chance they have is Sungray Amp. They do. The Augur's flipping. Okay, 35-50. Wokuk Watchtower. You don't see 96 plus there. Well, actually you do. It's a watchtower. The Vanu are holding. 57% allocated here, though. And the TR still have... Okay, some more gals. But... Here comes a B-Way gal. Coming in pretty hot. It looks like it was on a one-way trip. Already dropped off its payload. The battle continues on the ground. The fact that these points are contested, even at 60-40, such a big issue. Still 50-35. Wokuk Watchtower, the bleedingest stuff. West Pass Watchtower! That cuts up. No. Like, I keep saying, and it's over if that happens. Make no mistake, this looks really bad for the VS. They can't lose anything else. VS loses one more territory at this stage. It's over.
You can still gut this out.
They need Sungray Amp. They need all this territory, which I'm not exactly sure what that won't quite put them at 50, I don't think, but they definitely can't lose anything. More drops coming in. Valkyries heading out. I think they're rotating for nanites. A huge battle for the A point. The VS holding on precariously. A whole lot of Terrans down there. More drops continuously coming in. Once we see galaxies, that's how you know they're serious. Valkyries only hold up to 6 people. They're more of a stopgap and some air support. Galaxies are your major troop transports. Can we stop with the vehicles on the bridge? Oh my god. 2 out of 3 points to the Terrans on Sungray. How is the Augur not taken? Lithgor is going to be taken. The Bastion's being tapped. Crux headquarters. West Pass. Okay, Chimney Rock. We got a game. We got a game on our hands, guys. Like, for real, the Sungray amp take was super risky, but it's everything now. Yeah, once the cutoff territories are rolled up, and we're getting to the time where it's getting harder to actually capture them in time. because it's 4 minutes apiece, so that's going to be another 12 minutes to cut off all these. That's assuming they hold on to Sungray Amp. If Sungray Amp gets reconnected, then anything that's still in TR hands will be counted towards their control. Oh, here comes. Here come the girls! Here comes the Republic! This is it! This is the play. This is the retake. The Terran Republic. A coordinated assault. Half a dozen galaxies, half a dozen Valkyries. Dropping on point. 2 points already taken. Going for 3. Sunderer going where it shouldn't be. You're not a Mag Rider. Sungray Amp is the focal point, the fulcrum of this whole strategy. There's only 1 minute on the clock. If they take all 3 points, I don't know what that drops to. If not, okay, that was 40 seconds. 40 seconds on the VS. They can't lose this. They must defend. Galaxy is coming in, but the Terran air control, the Sky Terrans,
Start fighting for real at any time
they need
now.
something. It's 58% Terrans. They can't. The Terrans, with the overwhelming retake, they contested it, and then they took it. And with that, the paths to victory for the Vanu sovereignty.
The Terran Republic has taken the facility.
Quite an outfit to take that one. But I think with that, it's hard to see a path to victory for the Vanu. That was very important to maintain the cutoff. That already puts the Terrans back at 55%. They're already on Sungray Westgate, putting more time on the clock. Chimney Rock is flipping towards the VS, but Wokok Watchtower is in contest. It's looking quite tough right now. And by that I mean nearly mathematically impossible. Especially with the immediate forces on Westgate. Just the time on the clock is what's important here. Let's just get a quick tour of the front. I'm going to go ahead and do a camera. We'll take a look at the sit rep. The lines are drawn. North Grove will probably flip. Right now, it looks like the Terrans are coming in around 50% if things hold. We'll see. It appears the final battle lines have been drawn. And at this point, it is statistically, well, if every attack goes through for the VS, including, very importantly, Crux headquarters, but it's essentially impossible. A well-executed, I don't think this was one-sided. I think there was a clash of styles. There were different strategies, obviously, at play. And I think the Terrans were a little bit too quick to respond and stall out the massive pushes of the VS, while spreading their forces a little better throughout. There were definitely times where there were 10 or 15 seconds. Could have gone either way. But hello, sir. This base is like the only 5-stack base in the game. Where you have like 5 different levels to fight up. I hit a gal. Welcome to Planetside. So many people want to hear more. I think the VS have this one, though. That was a dramatic zoom-out shot, though. We're just looking for the sickest Planetside shots now. Nothing's more dramatic. I love how many galaxies are flying around. Like, that's the best part of Planetside. Is flying into battle. Like the trailer. Flying in the battle with 12 of your buddies. Dropping out into a field of death. And in the trailer, the protagonist survives. But really what happens is you hit the ground and immediately die before you know what hit you. But hopefully there's a medic around to revive you. That's the key. I remember when I played Planetside. So, I played Planetside. I'm gonna do Planetside Memories time. I actually played Planetside when it came out. Fun fact. I had forgotten I played Planetside 2 when it came out. I played with friends like in 2012 when it came out, now 8 years ago, within the first few weeks. But none of us had computers that could really run it. You know how I remembered? Is I was going on that bridge that goes to the crown, and I had flashbacks. I've been playing regularly for three or so years now. We've had an outfit with regular weekly stuff for at least almost a couple years, I think. Especially this year with all the outfit stuff. Oh my god. Well, here comes the neighborhood. But, that bridge, the one on the, from TI Alloys, like where the tanks go to the crown. I remember I had flashbacks of, wait a second, I've been here before. And that's when I was reminded, I have played Planetside 2 8 years ago. And I remember thinking it was a fun game if my computer could run it. The computer, I still struggled, like I couldn't stream SC2. with more than 15 FPS. So it wasn't like Planetside was particularly hard to run. It was just, it was a potato. But it definitely didn't help. People didn't have such high standards for streams back in the day. But yeah, I'm very glad I picked it up again, and this has definitely been the best year at Planetside. You didn't see any of the new stuff really showcased here, besides the fact there are so many. This may be the largest community smash ever, and therefore the largest organized FPS battle ever. Actually, that record might go to Planetside 2 when they did the record breaker event. This might be the largest competitive battle, I guess, but with over 800 players. But I'm not exactly sure if it beat the one earlier this year. But yeah, it's actually, well, I'm glad I found it. I don't even remember how I found it again after so many years, and that's like kind of my demographic of games, right? Every game I play, StarCraft 2, Planetside 2, Age of Empires 2, now, a lot, is a whole lot of like, oh yeah, I used to play this game back when I had a childhood, or something along those lines, and now it still kind of looks pretty fun and people are playing it. Well, I hope you guys, by the way, the TR saving this base, kind of epic as I'm monologuing. But yeah, most of my demographic is, I played this game back when I had free time and significantly less stress. Well, I play games because they're fun. And I truly think if you like FPS games and like you don't want to get sunk into World of Warcraft even though all your friends are playing it,
Give it your all.
because the only thing that will kill World of Warcraft is World of Warcraft itself. My recommendations, besides, of course, watch mine and other guides. It's free to play. You're gonna die. You should set that goal at 1,000 deaths. Because I fear not the man who has died the same way 1,000 times, but I fear the man who has died 1,000 times and still logs into the game. Which is something that the vast majority of players do not clear. Yeah, 37-55. Looks like it'll be around your final score. Crux headquarters is flipping, but it does seem that early TR superiority and the Southern Lattices did decide it. So I'm happy to see that my,
Is this the best you have?
I guess, theoretical strategy played out, and it played out well. So that means never question my orders, Planet Men. It might not just be your computer. I mean, we're talking about 2012. Like, maybe 2013, early. Is what I was talking about. I have a better computer now, and Planetside is better optimized. So, a lot of things have changed. And also after this, I'll be doing some casual games myself. Probably not as organized as this. And by games, I mean playing. Because it never ends. War never ends. Until Nanite Systems breaks all the warp gates. The battle for Crux headquarters will likely conclude. The drops all over the place.
Come on, we're losing this.
I'm not here to fight. I'm here to watch. But yeah. It's important to be clear. I don't know exactly how the game was, like, in 5 years ago. But since I've started playing, there has not been pay to win. You can get all weapons without paying a cent. Essentially, the game is pay to lose, actually, in many cases, because what you pay for are cosmetics. And cosmetics either make you a target or make people stay away from you more often. If you got someone coming in with their, like, Halloween costume as opposed to standard default loadout, you either... Some players get scared of them, some players pick them out easily in a crowd. Either way. But honestly, because of the way the guns work in Planetside, and many people go over this, but it's pay to progress faster. It's a little harder with vehicles. Vehicles take a little more finesse and practice. But the reason that your gun doesn't seem to do as much damage as that spandex man's gun is because you didn't aim as well. And that's simply it. And it takes a little more practice than your average FPS. There's no aim assist or anything. But I assure you, it's because you're bad. It is. And if you can't get over that, you're probably not going to play for very long. But hopefully you do enjoy as much as you do. It looks like the Terrans are actually going to hold on to Crux headquarters. And lock in 55% to 37% as the final score. GG. Falcon, with his Terran Republic soldiers, will be victorious in the 2020 Community Smash Round 2. A well-executed strategy, bringing them 55% control to 37% at the end. A pretty dominant performance. I gotta say, the VS going for those dramatic plays, it was exciting to watch, but more stuff counters less stuff, and the TR were able to respond. Much more quickly and effectively, especially in a lot of the southern bases. I wasn't actually watching them that closely. That's not where the vast majority of the Vanu were. Thus, why the map ends like it does. So the bases that the Vanu took from the neutral territories ended up being Rexcom Network and NC Arsenal, whereas the TR took the rest. So congratulations to Falcon and all the warriors of the Terran Republic, and for their victory in this community smash. There's going to be a bit of a fun clusterfuck at the crown now. But a fun event. It did start trending. It's very hard with only 2 factions. No, like, wildcard. And with the response times of these players to actually mount a comeback. Honestly, the Sungray amp play, while risky, also kind of became the play. And honestly, I think it took the Terrans, and it took me, even more importantly, a little off guard with how much territory that managed to cut off. But at the end, it wasn't quite enough. And with it, the Terran Republic claims victory.